Hey everyone, welcome back to Bleach Brave Souls, and today we're going to do a character profile on the new Szayelaporro, and I was so hyped when I got this character because he's awesome, guys. And if you got him too, congratulations. But if you got any of those characters, they're all pretty good. So anyway, before we start, I just want to go over a few things. I put a poll in my last character profile video asking if you guys would prefer no commentary or commentary. And man, out of 320 responses, 90% of the people wanted commentary. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna just like give my thoughts on the character as the video goes on, and that'll be the way we do it from now on, because you know I like to give you guys what you prefer. So thanks for your feedback. Also, I'm gonna try out a new layout. I'm gonna make the gameplay screen smaller, and I'm gonna put some of the character information on the sides and on the bottom. The other way I felt, where it was full screen gameplay, but I overlaid the statistics and stuff, I felt it looked better, but it wasn't quite as functional, you know, because you can't watch the gameplay and look at the statistics at the same time, because one thing covers the other, if you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, that way was prettier, but I think this way is more functional. I'm going to put up a poll for that too. I know I'm doing a lot of voting polls, but I need to get feedback, because I want to do these things right. So, click on the eye in the top right hand corner, I think, and give me your feedback there, or in the comments, wherever you want to do it, guys. Either way is fine with me. So with that out of the way, let's get into this Szayelaporro Grot's character profile. Okay, so as usual, let's start by taking a look at the statistics and abilities. Szayelaporro is a speed blue character. Obviously he's going to be an Arankar and an Espada. His killer is hollow, which is a very good killer to have because a lot of enemies in the game are hollows. And his soul trait is normal attack damage 25%, which makes him an excellent link, especially if you have a blue character with an upgraded link slot. His actual numbers are fairly decent. His attack is the standout thing to note at 743, but the SP is pretty low at 608, and defense focus are also kind of low. Now if we move on to his 6-star abilities, he has Bruiser at 40%, guys. So combine the Bruiser 40% with the normal attack damage soul trait at 25%, and without any gear or any character links, this character already has plus 65% normal attack damage on top of a 743 attack. So for a ranged character, his normal attack statistics and abilities are top tier. His Berserker is also 30%, which is decent. He has 2 upgrades to his special ability, and the Debilitator will also apply to his poison procs. Finally, he has Medic, which gives him a team heal, and that makes him a very valuable character to have in co-op and raids, because you know he can heal the team, and he's only one of 2 blue characters who can do that, the other being Parasol and Nanao. So looking at his actual gameplay, the normal attack string is a 3-hit combo, but it hits 4 times. The last hit of the string is a double hit. It's got pretty decent speed and pretty good spread. Not much to say about it. It's the decent normal attack string. Now, strong attack number 1 is a Cero in a straight line. It's a very linear attack, as you can see. It doesn't have very good spread, but it's not terrible. Like, when I say spread, I mean the width of the attack. So you do have to aim it pretty precisely to get the maximum benefit from it. It also only hits 2 times and is a ranged guard break. But perhaps the highlight of this character is his second strong attack, which is a heal and a boost and a damaging ability. Now the damaging aspect of it, as you can see, it's a 2-hit combo. It has almost no range, but it's just kind of a tack-on ability. That's not what you should be using it for. It's not meant to be used as an offensive tool. It's meant to be used as a support tool where you can heal and buff, obviously. So that's what you should focus on with that second strong attack. Don't consider it a source of damage, and we'll talk more about that during the gameplay. The third strong attack, it's an AoE centered around his body. It hits 4 times and has very good range. It can also proc poison, which is an added bonus, and it's a pretty decent crowd control tool if you find yourself in a sticky situation, or if you're surrounded by enemies and you're about to take some damage. Now Szayelaporro's special is also very strong, but it's got some unique mechanics. The poison part of the special attack will hit the whole screen, but there's also a direct damage component as well. And if you aim the special properly from the correct distance, it should hit about 14 times. Now, if you don't aim it the right way, or if you fire the special like too close to the enemy, or if you fire it in the wrong direction, the direct damage component of it can be completely wasted. You know, you can miss the enemy entirely, or you can just hit him only like a few times. But the poison still will hit everybody, so it's interesting, guys. You have to aim it, but I mean, it's not entirely necessary because most of the damage from the special comes from the poison effect. But to get the maximum damage out of the special, make sure you aim it and make sure you're at least a little bit further away from the boss. Don't fire this special if you're right on top of the boss, because it will not have the maximum damage applied. So that's about it for the basics on Szayelaporro. Let's check out his NAD build. So as you can see on the screen, I have two 25 normal attack damage links and a 20. I also am using a double Chappie setup. The 5-star Chappie only has 30% focus, which is not a great secondary effect. And I have the anniversary coin with 15% attack. So pretty decent stuff. Not the best, but not the worst either. So let's take a look at what he can do. Right off the bat, you can see how hard he hits, guys. He does have the killer advantage here. So, I mean, he's easily hitting for 6,000, 6,500, almost 7. If you have criticals, it can be even higher than that. And this is before he applies the boost, guys. Now, the thing to note about the boost is that it doesn't have enhancer, so the boost only lasts about 10 seconds. So bear that in mind when you are, you know, using this character for co-ops or single players. You're not going to be boosted all the time. But even without the boost, he does really good damage. Look how easily he handles these mobs. Usually, one normal attack string will kill pretty much anything except the bigger enemies, and the normal enemies, you know, 1 or 2 hits and they're done. And as an added benefit, he can proc poison, which will, you know, add to your DPS. I think the fastest clear time I had in this 5-star Hachigen raid is under 2 minutes. We'll see at the end here. I don't quite remember. But he's a very fun character to play as normal attack damage. He does provide that utility. And hopefully I'll use the boost here at some point so we can see the numbers on the boosted damage. We're already at the boss. And here you go, there's the boost. As you can see, the 2-hit combo doesn't do too much damage. I'm going to do the special here. Very cool looking special. And right there, you see where I fired it from. It's that's where you got to do it. So look at that damage, guys. With the boost, oh my god, 9,000 right there. Amazing normal attack numbers. Probably a top tier blue unit normal attacker. Probably a top tier normal attack range character in the entire game. Okay, the next build we're going to look at is a full recharge and normal attack hybrid. Now this is the build you should probably use for any of your co-ops. Anytime you have a healer or a boost character, you want to prioritize recharge, and the reason being so you can maximize how many times you can heal and boost. You want to be able to heal and boost as often as possible. So to that end, we have full recharge links on, and we have accessories that focus on normal attack damage. And when you do that with the double Chappie build, you also increase your survivability. This build is meant to be a pure supporter, but he can still do very good normal attack damage, guys. Like if you take a look, it's still a lot of damage from his normals. You know, 4,000s at the low end, and up to 6 at the high end. With the boost, I mean 6,000 with the boost. Without the boost, it's about 4,000. That's still really good range damage, considering that you have no normal attack damage links on, and you can attribute that to his normal attack damage soul trait and his 40% bruiser. So as you can see, I'm still clearing out the mobs pretty easily. And when you run recharge, like I said, you can have the boost up more often. And obviously for co-op, that will be a great benefit to your team, especially in the harder co-ops like the inheritance mode or the extreme. And this character, he's just very useful. He can be built in so many different ways and still be effective. Obviously, I think this is the best way to go if you're playing the support role. But even if you just go pure normal attack damage, your heal and your boost will still be very useful to your team. And that's the thing to consider. When you play this character, the ability of having a heal and a boost in one strong attack, it kind of makes you choose how you use it. Do you use it on cooldown to keep as much boost uptime as possible, or do you save it for when the team needs a heal? You really can't do both. You really have to consider what your role is going to be. Are you going to be primarily a healer or primarily a booster? And it does add another dimension to Szayelaporro's gameplay. So as you can see, that was pretty simple, guys. He's a safe character in this mode, and I highly recommend it for any co-op or more difficult content. The next build we're going to take a look at is a strong attack damage build. As you can see, I have full 25% strong attack damage links, and I have a Yuki with 20% SP and some other SP accessories as well. So normally I would recommend that you not do this build, but when I actually tried it, it was pretty decent, guys. It works because of the accessories I have, and because he already has really good normal attack damage. Like I keep repeating, even without gear, he still hits for about 3,000. And his strong attacks, they're not the best, but they are passable, like we'll see here. That third one, which hits 4 times for about 3,000, 3,500 each, it does good damage. And the boost, the boost, you're not going to really use it for damage. It's just kind of an added benefit. But when you boost, try to be in the middle of a pack of enemies. Flash step in there, hit your boost, and you can just, add a little bit of extra damage. And the nat damage, it's not great anymore, but it's still okay. And third strong attack does have a chance to proc poison, as does the normal attack string. That first strong attack, it hits hard, but you have to aim it. Like, it doesn't have a very wide spread, but it does have good range. So if you're standing in the back, just firing off normals, this is a good thing to throw in, when it's off cooldown. He's pretty fun to play in this mode, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't recommend it. This character, he should be a normal attacker, and I just really threw this in for completionism's sake, so you guys could see all the different setups that he could potentially have. There we go. You see it on that first strong attack, like, if you just let the computer aim automatically, you don't get the maximum effectiveness out of it. You really should aim manually and try to get as many enemies in it as you can. And here we go. Here's the special. And as you can see there, I kind of missed Hachigen because I wasn't facing the right way and I was too close. That special will hit 14 times if you aim it properly, but if you don't, all you'll get is the poison effect. So there you have the strong attack damage build. Surprisingly effective, but I don't recommend it. It doesn't play to the strengths of this character, so yeah, it's just more of a novelty than anything else. Alright guys, so the final build I'm going to show you is a pure hybrid setup. As you can see, I'm running the full Frenzy character links, which gives me a little bit of NAD, a little bit of SAD, and a little bit of recharge. And I'm using all the black accessories, which is a pretty balanced spread of attack, SP, defense, focus, and stamina. And if you look at the gameplay, it works pretty well. I personally prefer this type of setup because it gives me access to everything. I don't lose SP like I do with the Chappy builds, and I don't lose focus like I do with some of the strong attack builds. There's really no downside. I guess if you had to say there was a downside, you don't hit as hard overall, but it's more fun to play. Sometimes when you play a normal attack damage Chappy build, you don't want to use your strong attacks because they're kind of worthless. But in this case, you do want to use your strong attacks because they're not worthless. And with the little bit of recharge I have on him, 20%, the boost will come up noticeably faster. Also, you get the increases to defense and focus as an added side benefit. So as you can see, he is tearing through the raid. I mean, this is a good character, guys. He's very strong. So any way you build him is going to be effective. In single player, I recommend you just go with whatever is the most fun for you to play. If you like huge numbers, go pure nat. If you like a little bit of everything, go with the hybrid setup. And if you prefer to have your strong attacks more available to you, like the boost and the heal, go with a recharge, NAD hybrid, or a recharge, strong attack damage hybrid. I don't recommend strong attack based builds on this character, but if that's what you like to play, go for it. He'll still be very effective. And here we go. We're in the boss room. Clear times on this guy with all 4 builds I've shown are excellent. He does have the killer advantage, and if he didn't have it, it would be a little bit slower, but still, I mean, most raids he's going to be well under 3 minutes. And there you have it. That is the final build of the showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed. Excellent character. So let me just move on to the final thoughts section. Okay, so after playing this character in a variety of different scenarios with a variety of different setups, I can honestly say that he is a very strong top tier character. But I do feel he has been slightly overhyped. You would think that with, his 40% bruiser, his 25 NAD soul trait, and his 743 attack, he would hit a little bit harder. But, I don't think he hits as hard as the numbers would indicate. And I don't know why that is, guys, because I can replicate this damage on an Uryu, for example. So, don't get me wrong, he hits like a truck, but I kind of expected it to be a little bit higher. That's my only kind of gripe with that. The numbers would have led you to believe that the damage would be a little bit better, but he still does hit very hard. So, the NAD build, obviously, in my opinion, is the best setup for this character. It's best for any type of solo content, but I would go with Recharge and NAD Hybrid if you're doing co-op. And the reason being, obviously, in co-op, you want to be able to throw that heal out, throw out that buff as often as possible. And the NAD is because, that's what his strength is. You want to go with Chappies and Recharge for co-op. I also really like the boost and heal ability because it adds another layer of strategy to playing this character. You think it's an OP ability, but it's kind of not really. I mean, it is, but it isn't, because you have to use it. You have to decide how to use it. There is there is an element of management to do with this character. Do you want to prioritize the boost, in which case you might be wasting the heal? Or do you want to prioritize the heal, in which case you might be having lower uptime on the boost? And the boost does not have enhancer, so it only lasts about 10 seconds. So for example, if you hit the boost every time it comes off cooldown, there might be scenarios where the team doesn't need a heal, so that heal just goes to waste. And conversely, if you just prioritize healing, sometimes you don't have very good uptime on the boost. So like I said, there is some strategy and an added layer of depth to playing this character, and I love that, guys. I love having to make choices and think about how to most effectively play your character in the co-op. Now, I have run this character a little bit in PvP, and I find that his effectiveness isn't really that great. I still think Blue Kenpachi is better. And primarily this is mostly due to the AI. The AI will prioritize the heal, so unless Szayelaporro is at low health, he's not going to throw that boost out consistently. He might do it here and there. It depends on the scenario, depends on the other members of your team, whether or not this is a problem. But survivability, it's not so good in PvP. I still think go with Blue Kenny and link Szayelaporro to Blue Kenny if you're going for damage. And especially if you have an upgrade to Link slot. But overall, this is probably one of the best support characters in the game. He has great versatility, great utility. His normal attack damage, he can still contribute damage, unlike Parasol in the Now. I mean, Parasol in the Now is a decent character, but Szayelaporro, he definitely has a bigger bag of tricks. And he definitely hits harder as well. But in the end, I think he was a little bit overhyped. And that's not saying that he's not a great, amazing character. He's just like not as hype as I initially had thought when I saw his statistics and abilities. So that's about it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.